So, finished the Kindle edition of this book last night. I found it quite enjoyable. Edd writes in a fluid, conversational style. The content, well, my only objection was that there was not enough covering the wheeler-dealer era. All in all, a great effort, Edd, and a fun read for his fans. Recommended. I had hoped for a bit more backstory to the show, and interpersonal relationship with Mike Brewer. Not tittle-tattle, Edd never stoops to that. Just look at his YouTube clips concerning the severing of his relationship with the program, but more behind-the-scenes anecdotes. Not car by car, that would take volumes. Just a few highlights, or lowlights, might have been interesting. Having received my copy on Friday night, I'd finished it by Sunday. I'm not the fastest reader as I'm easily distracted. The book was light-hearted and found myself chuckling away to myself reading some of the shenanigans Edd and co got up to. Armed robbery had me in stitches. What you get is someone who doesn't take things too seriously and has lots of fun in the process. This is the first proper book I have read for a few years as I'm a Kindle addict. Okay, I know there's a Kindle version, but in the past I have found the illustrations aren't very good on a Kindle, so I pre-ordered the book. Surprise number 1. There'd been a price drop since I ordered it and this was passed on. Surprise number 2. I wasn't sure how I'd manage a real book having read about 200 books on a Kindle. I couldn't put the book down. Edd's writing style is conversational, it's as if he was chatting to you. He's a real miss on wheeler-dealer but seems to be keeping himself busy. I just hope he finds the time to write another book in the future. I will certainly pre-order it if it comes to fruition. Having been a fan of Mr. China, and his various automotive forays for years, I pre-ordered this book and have waited. Well worth the wait. It's well written, slightly disjointed, but in a style that makes it anecdotal almost. It is an easy read, and compelling enough to devour an afternoon of time without noticing it. The book is well edited and good photos. I would have liked to have read more on how Wheeler Dealers was made, but maybe a different book. If you're a fan of Edd, buy it, and read it. It's almost inspirational about using engineering and doggedness to overcome most problems. I'm a great fan of Edd's, so his book seemed an obvious buy. A bit slow to start with, but once you get into it, it is really interesting. It puts another view on why Edd left Wheeler Dealers. Edd is all about interesting detail, explaining what he is doing and why. He has brain that works and obviously enjoys passing on his knowledge. It was inevitable there was going to be a clash with the new production company. This new management lot obviously have no idea whatsoever as to why Wheeler Dealers was so popular. They seem to imagine that it was on the same level as some of those terrible brain-dead game shows. Perhaps they should have stayed with the junk TV market. Edd writes the way that my mind reads, so this book is a great match, well written, difficult to put off after a chapter and informative, lots of information and all of it delivered in an open, humorous and highly competent style. The download runs perfectly on my S6 tab screen too, though a book this in tune with my taste may yet be bought for the shelf too, so that future, casual dips into the book can be taken without firing up a gadget. Well done, Mr. China. Here's wishing you well with your next volume. Please say there's going to be a sequel, pretty please with bells on. I have only just started reading Edd's book today, however it's great to hear the full history about him leaving Wheeler Dealers. I do follow him on YouTube, so I was aware of some of the things that had happened. I can't wait to carry on reading the book. If you have followed Wheeler Dealer and like the work that Edd did, this is a must-buy. I'm a couple of days into reading the book now. It's absolutely brilliant. It really is an autobiography and I cannot believe the things Edd has done. This is one book that you should have in your collection. Edd fills in most of the things you wondered when watching him fix up some old shed Mike had brought to him on Wheeler Dealers. Overall it's a good read and I didn't get bored with it, however I did find it a little boastful in tone at times. Yes, we all know Edd could outspanner most of us with just a bent screwdriver and an adjustable spanner, but he doesn't have to keep reminding everyone how he's always right. The parts about his move into TV are the most interesting, and these have increased my enjoyment of WD repeats. And the bit about Belize is a bit too long, and nothing of interest really happens. Okay, it's lockdown which is affording me the opportunity to read more, but I still completed this book in very quick time. I thought Edd was brilliant on wheeler dealers as both engineer and communicator. It turns out that he's been at several events that I've worked on where the casual loafer, read the book, made appearance. He's done a heck of a lot more than wheeler dealers. Writing style is, as others have said, very conversational and easy to read. I enjoyed reading Junkie. It was a very easy read. There was not as much about his time on wheeler dealers as I would have thought, but it was fascinating to read about his early life, as well as learning about his comfy banana motorized furniture business. A very good choice for the car nut in your life to take on holiday. Brilliant insight into the man behind the orange gloves. Excellent insight into the life of Mr. China. Makes sense of the man and his passion for motors. Excellent read, the man is inspirational. A great read, very enjoyable. Edd China fans are sure to enjoy this. Cheers, Edd. Looking forward to seeing what you do next. Please see link in description for more reviews.